Amber, just her name used to feel like sunshine. We were that couple, you know? The one everyone said was goals. We met in college, two art history majors who fell in love over dusty textbooks and shared dreams of traveling the world. After graduation, we got married in a small ceremony by the lake, where we had our first date. Life felt perfect. I landed a decent job at a local gallery, and Amber started her own freelance graphic design business. Our little apartment was filled with laughter, paint-splattered canvases, and the smell of her favorite lavender candles. For 10 years, she was my everything. My best friend, my confidant, my partner in every sense of the word. I loved the way her eyes would light up when she talked about a new project. The way she'd hum off-key while making breakfast. The way she'd steal my hoodies and wear them around the house. I thought I knew everything about her. I thought our foundation was unbreakable. But I was about to learn that the woman I shared my life with was a stranger. It all started subtly. A shift so slight I almost missed it. Amber began working late more often, citing demanding clients and tight deadlines. When she was home, she seemed distant, her phone always in her hand, angled away from me. "Just work stuff," she'd say with a quick, dismissive smile. The late-night texts became more frequent. She'd explain them away as brainstorming sessions with a new client, a guy named Julian. She gushed about how creative he was, how well they collaborated. I tried to be supportive. Her success was our success, right? But a knot of unease started to form in my stomach. The laughter in our apartment faded, replaced by a tense silence. Our inside jokes fell flat. When I tried to talk to her about it, she'd accuse me of being insecure, of not trusting her. She'd say I was suffocating her creativity. She was so good at turning it around on me that I started to believe it. Maybe I was the problem. Maybe I was being overly sensitive, so I backed off, giving her the space she said she needed, all while my heart was screaming that something was terribly wrong. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. It was our anniversary. I left work early, bought her favorite lilies, and booked a table at the Italian restaurant where I proposed. I wanted to surprise her, to recapture some of the magic we'd lost. I walked into our apartment calling her name, expecting to see her at her desk, but the apartment was empty. Her laptop was closed. That's when I saw it. A piece of paper on the kitchen counter. It was a receipt, a hotel receipt, for 2 nights. The guest's name was Julian. The charge date was the previous weekend. A weekend she told me she was on a work retreat in the mountains to focus on a big project. My world tilted on its axis. The air left my lungs. The lilies I was holding suddenly felt heavy, their sweet scent turning sickening. I sank onto a kitchen chair, my mind racing, trying to make sense of it. It couldn't be true. There had to be an explanation. Maybe the company paid for it. Maybe she shared a room with a female colleague. My mind desperately grasped for any plausible deniability. I called her. I went straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. My hands were shaking as I texted her. "Where are you? It's our anniversary." Minutes stretched into an hour. No reply. The sun went down, casting long shadows across our once happy home. Finally, around 10 p.m., the door opened. Amber walked in, looking surprised to see me sitting in the dark. "Dylan, what are you doing? You scared me?" she said, flipping on the light. She saw the flowers on the table, the single lit candle. Her face paled. "Oh my God, our anniversary. I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. Work has been insane." I didn't say anything. I just stood up and held out the hotel receipt. Her eyes darted from the paper to my face. The color drained from her cheeks. For a moment, she was speechless. The mask of the busy, stressed-out professional fell away. And for the first time in months, I felt like I was seeing the real her, and she was a stranger. "Dylan, it's not what you think," she stammered, the classic line. "Julian and we were just working. The project was intense. We needed to focus without distractions." Focus. For 2 nights in a hotel room, Amber? My voice was quiet, dangerously so. "The work retreat you didn't have your phone on for? The one that made you forget our anniversary?" The lies started to crumble. She tried to maintain the story, but her voice faltered. She talked about pressure, about feeling creatively blocked, about how Julian just understood her in a way I didn't anymore. Every word was a dagger. She wasn't apologizing for what she did. She was justifying it. She was blaming me for her choices. "You've been so distant," she said, tears welling in her eyes. I felt like I was losing myself in Julian. He helped me find that spark again. "So you slept with him?" I asked, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. The silence that followed was my answer, was a complete and total confirmation of my worst fears. 10 years. A decade of my life, of my love, of my trust, shattered in a single moment of silence. She didn't find a creative spark. She set our life on fire. She chose to betray me, to lie to me day after day. The woman I loved, the woman I built a future with, didn't exist. She was a character Amber had been playing. Looked at her, really looked at her, and saw a complete stranger. The loving wife was a facade. The shared dreams were a lie. In that moment, I knew it was over. There was no coming back from this. She hadn't just made a mistake. She had systematically dismantled our marriage, piece by piece, lie by lie. I told her to pack a bag and leave. The argument that followed was ugly. The tears, the excuses, the desperate pleas to work through this. But how do you work through something with someone you don't even know? How do you rebuild on a foundation of lies? You can't. Watching her walk out that door was the most painful and liberating moment of my life. The love was gone, replaced by a cold, hard clarity. She wasn't my everything. She was just a chapter in my life. A very painful chapter that was now closed. The journey ahead would be difficult. I knew that. Healing from this kind of betrayal takes time. For the first time in months, I could breathe again. The silence in the apartment was no longer tense. It was peaceful. It was the sound of a new beginning, a future I would build for myself, on my own terms, free from the shadow of her lies. This isn't a story about a broken heart. It's a story about finding the truth, no matter how much it hurts, and choosing to save yourself. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, know that you're not alone, and you have the strength to move forward. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. See you next time.